generator matrix is the matrix which is used on a transmitter side, which is used to generate the code word vector V for any given message vector. That means if you know the G matrix, then you are going to multiply the message vector U with G to obtain the code word vector V. So that's the reason why this is called as generator matrix. It is going to generate the code words. We have the derived form of the same generator matrix, which will be used on the receiver side in order to extract the message information from the code word, in order to extract the message information from the code word. And that is done by making use of another form which is called as parity check matrix. So you can see the name is parity check matrix. It is not parity matrix, it is the parity check matrix. That means we are trying to check the parity bits on the receiver section. So that's the reason why it is named as parity check matrix. So how does this parity check matrix would look like is, the parity check matrix H is obtained by altering the same generator matrix, where the first part of the parity check matrix would be the transposed version of the parity matrix P appended by the identity matrix formed by I of n minus k, I suffix n minus k. That means this will be the identity matrix of the size I of n minus k, where the first part would be the transposed version of the parity matrix. So in general, this could be written as P11, P12, P13, so on up to the last parity bit is in the first row, it is P1, n minus k. Second column would be the second row of the parity matrix, which is P21, P22, P23, so on, P2, n minus k. Like this we can continue. The last column in the parity matrix would be PK1, PK2, PK3, so on, Pk, n minus k. So this will be the first part, and the second part will be appended with the I n minus k identity matrix. That means it's an identity matrix of the size n minus k. Now I want you people to tell me what is the size of this matrix. Look at the terms that I have written over here and try to give me the size of this matrix. If P has the size, let me write the sizes over here. This is k cross k. This will be k cross of n minus k. What will be the size of P transpose? Size of P transpose. What will be the size of
matrix? N minus k cross k.
N minus k cross
k.
Okay. Columns will be rows and rows will be columns. So we have written n minus k cross k. So this first part is going to be n minus k cross k, which is correct. And the second part is going to be the identity matrix of the size n minus k cross n minus k. So what will be the total size of this H? Total size of this H?
n minus k cross n minus k, ma'am.
N minus k cross. See here, how many columns are there? In the first part we have k columns. In the next part we have n minus k columns. When you add all the columns together, you are appending. You are appending the number of columns, which means you are simply attaching. Which means the total
number of columns would be
k plus
n minus k. N, ma'am.
N, correct.
N.
The parity check matrix H is going to have a dimension of n minus k cross of n. So you can see over here how we are getting this. P transpose will have the size n minus k cross k, and that will be your first part, and the second part will be appended with the identity matrix of the size n minus k. That means the number of rows will be equal to number of columns here. So the size of the identity matrix is n minus k cross n minus k. So when you look at the total matrix, the dimension of parity check matrix would be n minus k cross n. We will see how this parity check matrix is going to help us in obtaining the code word or obtaining the message information from the code word. So we have one of the derivation over here. So we will quickly do that. This is going to help us in decoding procedure. So take down the proof that we are doing now. The question is, the proof question is, if let me write it as V. If V is a, I don't know whether you can see this. If V is a valid code vector, if V is a valid code vector, obtained as, you can write it as, obtained as V is equal to U into G, V is equal to U into G, then prove that V into H transpose, V multiplied by H transpose is equal to 0, where H transpose, H rise to T, which means it is H transpose, is the transpose of the parity check matrix, is the transpose of parity check matrix. This you can, just by looking at the symbol, you can make it out. Okay, so we need to prove this particular identity, that is the code word when it is multiplied with the transposed version of H, then we are going to end up in a result equal to 0. So how do we start here is, first we will have to have a generator matrix. So we will start off with the generator matrix, the ith row of generator matrix we are going to start off. Let me consider the ith row of generator matrix G. Okay, so I represent that as G, small letter G, suffix J. It consists of, remember it consists of the first part as the part from the identity matrix, and the second part will be of the identity of the parity matrix. So G will be having two parts. One is the IK and the P. So here also in the ith row we will have the ith bit will be equal to 1 from the identity matrix, rest all will be 0. So what is this? This is the ith element. This will be the ith element, which will be equal to 1. Then this is the completion of the identity matrix. Then I am going to write the ith row from the parity matrix. The ith row from the parity matrix would look like Pi1, Pi2, so on, Pi comma n minus k. So in general, if you had, in place of I, if you had 1, you would write the 1 over here, that is the first element would be equal to 1, rest all will be 0. This one would be P11, P12, so on up to P1 comma n minus k. But here I have taken a particular very generalized row where I have considered the row index as I. Therefore, the ith element will be equal to 1, rest all will be zeros, and I am considering the ith row of the parity matrix, where the elements in general can be written as pi1, pi2, so on up to pi comma n minus k. Fine? Okay? So somewhere over here we will also get pij, where j is some random index corresponding to a particular column. Okay? So assume that this particular column is obtained after how many stages? First we have covered the k number of bits, and then we have went through within the parity matrix for j number of columns. So this will be the k plus jth element. Okay, the indexing for this pij would be k plus jth element would be this pij. We have taken a more generalized column over here rather than a particular column. So this is necessary. Keep this in mind. Now I am going to consider one of the rows from the parity check matrix, and the index for that particular row I will consider as jth row. Okay. So this is the ith row of G. Now I am going to consider jth row of H. Okay. So jth row of H, as I already told, in the H we have the transpose of the parity matrix will come first, followed by the identity matrix of the size n minus k. Please keep this in mind. So whenever I am addressing the rows of the H parity check matrix, you need to give me the generalized expression over here. We had written previously the general form of parity check matrix. So give me in general how to write this particular row. You have to help me out. So I will start off with P1.
P of I,
P1 j,
J,
then
P2J,
P2j, correct?
Pij. Yes, ma'am.
So on. Somewhere in between I will get Pij. Then I will extend this to the last element would be Pkj, because the number of rows will become the number of columns over here. So the kth element here would be P suffix kj. Then next it will be followed by the identity elements or identity matrix elements, where it is 0, 0. Somewhere in between I will get a 1. We will see what is this position of the symbol 1. So this particular position of Pij, we have went through the ith column, so therefore this will be the ith element. And after traversing for the k elements, then we are going to map this. This will be available in the, assume that this will be the kth position or k plus jth position. Okay, I am mapping this 1 after j number of columns from the parity matrix elements. Okay, so this is k plus jth element. These are the two rows that I have obtained from the generator matrix, and then the one of the row from the parity check matrix. Now what I am going to do, I am going to do the multiplication of G suffix I with the transposed version of this row, that is H suffix j transpose. So we are going to do this simple multiplication. So we are only multiplying one single row, and this therefore it holds good for all the rows and columns of the, all the rows of the G and H. So I have erased everything, so you people have to help me out because the space is very less over here. I am not able to fix up the camera to cover larger area. Please forgive me for that. So I'm going to do the multiplication of G suffix I, H suffix J, transpose. So you tell me whatever we had written previously. For the G I had 0, 0 followed by one of the 1 in between, which is the ith element. Let me rewrite this. Then I had P1I, right, or PI1, sorry, PI1, then PI2, somewhere in between I get PIJ, right, followed by Pi comma n minus k, and this is the k plus jth element, right? Now I have to write the transpose of the matrix or one of the rows of the matrix H. What is the first element over here? It is the part of the parity bits. Please help me in filling this. This is P1J, P2J, followed by, in between I'll get Pij. The last one is Pkj, then followed by 0, 0, the parts of the identity matrix. Okay. This one corresponds to the position k plus jth element. This Pij corresponds to the ith element. Okay. So this is the k plus jth element, and this one would be ith element in the H. So we will do the multiplication now. This is simple matrix multiplication, and check which one of these would be remaining. 0 multiplied
Only
by
I.
this would be 0. 0 multiplied by this would be 0. The element which is going to sustain in the first part would be, please remember, this is what is the size of this. This is, I guess this will be a row matrix. Now this will be 1 cross of n. I'm just taking single row. This is 1 cross of n. This one would be n cross of 1. Right? So I should be getting only one element over here. The resultant would be one element only. Fine. Now we will see over here. Okay. So among the first part, you can see everything multiplies to 0 and only one element will remain, which is that 1 multiplied by the corresponding ith element in this particular row, which is 1 multiplied by p suffix ij. And coming to this part again, you are going to multiply after k elements. So till here we had k elements. So k plus 1th element would be pi1. Here after k elements I have the k plus 1th element as 0. So 0 multiplied by pi1 will be 0. This one would be 0. Everything else would be 0. Only multiplication of 1 with this pij will be remaining. So therefore it is 1 multiplied by pij. The same thing will be repeated again. Okay. So here you are going to do the parity bits addition, which is pij plus pij. So in the modular 2 addition, whenever you add the bits of this similar, when you add the two similar bits, what is the resultant? When you add two
0.
similar bits, that is modular 2 addition, 0 plus 0,
0,
1
ma'am.
plus 1, what is the result?
0.
0.
0.
Therefore, we get a result from this as G suffix I multiplied by the transpose version of H suffix j, we always get an 0. In general, this I have taken a particular case of one of the rows of G and H. Now, if I consider in general, if I consider the entire matrix themselves, that is the matrix G multiplied by the transpose of the parity check matrix, we always get a 0. We will always get a 0. Now what I will do, on both the sides, multiply on both the sides the vector u, the message vector u. So I'm just going to multiply this. So u multiplied by g, you have to multiply the message vector at the beginning. Please remember, multiply both sides by message vector u at the beginning. You cannot multiply randomly in between or at the last. No, it is not possible. You have to follow the matrix multiplication rule. So therefore you have to multiply at the beginning. Okay, this is what we will be doing. Of course, when we do matrix multiplication, when this we are going to consider as a matrix, this 0 should also be a matrix. It cannot be an element. Please remember that. So we are going to obtain this. We already know that the message vector multiplied by the generator matrix, we are going to obtain the code vector v, and when we multiply that with the transpose of the parity check matrix, anything multiplied by the null vector, it is going to be a 0. Anything multiplied by a null vector is going to be a 0. Therefore, we can say that the code word, when you obtain a code word, a proper code word, when you multiply that with your parity check matrix, you are going to end up in a 0. This result is very important in order to know in order to understand the concept of error detection. Okay, whether and in the error correction also. This is very much important, especially in the error detection process that we are going to make use in our receiver section. Okay, so please make a note of this. Please go through this derivation again in your textbook. It is given over there as an exercise or an example problem. So please go through that. You will understand it thoroughly if you do it today itself. So please go through this. This result will be very much necessary in order to do the decoding process. Now, having known about parity check matrix, we will see how the practical implementation of code generation will be done using the simple binary circuits, or what are known as shift registers. Using the shift registers, we can realize the circuit that is used to generate the code words. So therefore, now we are going to see the encoding circuit or block diagram or circuit diagram for n, k linear block codes. Encoding circuit for n, k linear block codes. So first we will try to write the most generalized expressions, whatever we have known so far. First we will write it in a more generalized way, and then we will take a particular example, and then we can close it up with that. So we know that V, the output vector V, is expressed as V1, V2, V3, so on up to Vn, and input message vector is denoted as U1, U2, so on up to Uk, right? All the code word, part of the code word is expressed by making use of the k number of input bits. So we had the formula that Vi will be equal to Ui for all I running from 1 to k, for all I running from 1 to k, for V of k plus 1, for V of k plus 1, we have the linear combinations of the input bits, which are denoted by P11 into U1 plus P12 into U2 plus, P11 into U1 plus P21 into U2 plus P31 into U3, so on, plus Pk1 into Uk. Pk1 into Uk. Similarly, Vk plus 2 will be written as P12 into U1 plus P22 into U2 plus P32 into U3, so on up to Pk2 into UK. This can be extended to the nth bit of the code word Vn, which is denoted as P1n into U1 plus P2n into U2 plus P3n into U3, so on up to Pkn into U3. Oh, sorry, this is not n, this is n minus k, sorry, because parity bits would be only n minus k, sorry about that. This parity number of bits would be only n minus k, so it is P1 comma n minus k into U1, P2 comma n minus k into U2, P3 comma n minus k into U3, last one would be Pk comma n minus k into UK. These are the equations that are used to generate the different bits of the code words using the input bits U1, U2, U3, so on up to UK. So we can realize this using the shift registers. How to realize this in the circuit, we will see now. What we will need is, the first is to have a block of k bits of information available with us. So for that, what we will do, we will have a shift register. What do you mean by a shift register? What is meant by a shift register? Guys, no response. What is meant by a shift register? Don't know. Third semester, DEC.
Ma'am, data is shifted, ma'am.
What do you mean by a shift register?
Ma'am, transfer of binary bits, ma'am, in like,
Huh?
ma'am, it is a register, ma'am, in that bits
What
are
is
transferred.
meant by a register? What it is formed of?
Memory element, ma'am.
What it is formed of? Register. What the basic element of a register?
Flip-flops.
K bit shift register means we are going to have K flip flop, which is going to store one bit in each of its memory. So please remember this. A shift register is made by the flip flop, typically a D flip flop. We call it as D flip flop. Okay. Why? Because it can store one bit of information. We do not use other forms of flip flops to get a shift register. Mostly it is a D flip flop that we will be using. Assume that there are k number of flip flops being stacked together, like cascaded together. So every shift register is going to hold one bit of memory. So what we will do, we are going to feed the input bits through one of the flip flops, and after, so when we enter the first time, first U1 will go in the first clock cycle. Rest all there will be some junk information. In the next clock cycle, we will be pushing the second bit of the information, the message bit information, that is U2. Then in the third clock cycle will be similarly, it will further get pushed towards the right, and then the further bits are going to enter into this flip flop. So how many clock cycles do I require to completely fill this k bits of shift register with the message information? How many clock cycles do I require to push all the k bits of information into this shift register?
K clock.
Clock
cycles. So the first bit which was pushed would appear at the last flip flop after the kth clock cycle. Okay, in the second position I will have U2, the third I will have U3, and the last here would be UK minus 2, UK minus 1, the last one would be UK. Okay, this will be the arrangement that we will have in the k-bit shift register. Using this we will be having, or we will be generating the other redundant bits using these k bits. So how do we do that is, it will be the linear combinations of the information bits that we have here. So I will consider the first parity bit, how to generate the first parity bit, which will be generating VK plus 1. VK plus 1. So whatever the equation that we have for VK plus 1, can you give me that? It is P1K, or what is the first row element to generate the VK plus 1? It is the P11, which is going to be multiplied by U1, right? Then U2 will be multiplied with P21. Similarly, U3 will be multiplied by P31. Then we will have the last parity in the thing as PK1 into UK. We will have UK. This one would be U3, and the multiplied versions will get added, which is modulo 2 added like this, and this output is going to give me the k plus 1th bit, that is V of k plus 1. Okay, like this we will have the linear combinations. Then I will come to the last row of the parity, because it is quite, I cannot write everything over here. So let me write the last parity, which is P, which is the last parity, in the V of n. I want for the V of n, it is P1 or P1 or Pn minus k comma 1. P1 comma n minus k, which will be multiplied with U of 1. P2 comma n minus k, which is multiplied by U of 2. So you can connect the lines from here. And P3 comma n minus k, which is obtained from multiplied with U3. Last one is Pk comma n minus k, which will be multiplied by U of k. Then you are going to add everything together with a modulo 2 adder to obtain the last parity bit or the check bit, which is the V of n. So this will be V of n, this will be V of k plus 1. Okay, then according to the code word, V1 will be U1, V2 will be U2, V3 will be U3. Okay, here we will have V1, here we will get V2, V3, so on, and here we are going to get Vk plus 1, and this will get extended similarly to Vn, and this will be sent out to the channel. This will be the channel, and this is what, this arrangement we call it as a commutator. This arrangement we call it as a commutator. What does this commutator would do? At time instance t1 it will pick v1, at time instance t2 it will pick v2, v3, so on up to vn. Okay, so it is going to switch from v1 to vn to collect all the bits within the bit period. So every bit will be collected during its bit period. Okay, so v1, v2, v3, so on up to vn will be picked by, or it will be sent into the channel using a commutator arrangement, and it is going to pick one bit at a time from this particular circuit. So this looks very huge, but when we do the example, you will be able to realize it in a much more simpler way. We will see the example now, how to write the encoding circuit for already solved program or problem, which is a 6,3 linear block code. I'll just give you the hint, you write and come. We will see the circuit, or we will finish. Shall we finish it up? What do you have in the next hour? What do you people have for the next hour class?
M4.
M4, okay. So we will quickly write the expressions of the code word. The code word V in a 6,3 linear block code is obtained like this, which is equal to U1. The parts of V1 is U1, U2, U3. The fourth bit is U1 plus U3. The fifth bit is U2 plus U3. The last bit is U1 plus U2. So these are the equations of the redundant bits and as well as the actual bits, which are the parts of the message information. Now we will be writing the circuit for this. So we have 3 message informations, therefore we are going to have 3 bit shift register, where it consists of U1 at the first, U2, U3. Quickly I am writing the circuit over here. So using these 3 bits, I am going to generate the 3 other parity bits. The first parity bit is U1 plus U3. So I am taking U1, sending it to a modulo 2 adder. To this modulo 2 adder, I have one more input for U3. When you add U1 plus U3, I am going to get V4. Okay, let me write this also. This one would be, this part would be V1, this is V2, and this would be V3. Let me write it like this. V1, V2, V3, it will be in order. V1, V2, V3. V4, I am taking it over here. The V5 is U2 plus U3. So U2, I am sending it into a modulo 2 adder, and I am also feeding it with the U3 to obtain V5. Then last parity bit is U1 plus U2. I'll have one more adder over here. I will feed this adder with the input called U1, and then I'll also feed U2. Please mind the jumpers over here. Last bit is V6. So the first 3 are the pure message bits, which are V1, V2, V3. This one would be V4, V5, V6, and this will be sent into the channel. It will be sent into the channel using a commutator, which will be swinging from V1 to V6. So this is the arrangement which is used to encode the incoming message bits and then send it over the channel. So this is how you can realize the circuit for generating the code word as well as sending it over the channel. Okay, I hope this is simple enough to understand. This is the circuit diagram to generate the code word for the problem that we have solved on Sunday, which is a 6,3 linear block code. Like this, you can write the circuit diagrams for whichever the problem or the linear block code that is given. If it is a 7,4, then you will have to add one more shift register here, 4 flip-flops, and then you have to realize the equations that we are going to get for the parity bits, and then you can express it like this and represent it like this. So in the exam, they will ask you in some of the cases, these problems, the linear block code problems, will be of maximum marks up to 12 marks, 15 marks. In such cases, they will ask you to do or write all the code words for the message, all message combinations. They'll ask you to write the encoder diagram, they'll ask you to write the syndrome, they'll ask you to write the error correcting or error detections. All those things will be asked, So please be thorough with the writing part of this, circuits and all. If you have any doubts, you can get it clarified. It is simple enough. If you still have any doubts, you can ask me. So I'll stop it over here. In the next class, we will see how to how to realize the decoding procedure in the linear block codes. Okay, so I'll be stopping it over here.